Hello everybody, this is Knowhere, here to do a deck profile for Kaguya. This is...
Teacher, shut the fuck up!
Fucking your mother, asshole!
Guys, come on. ASMR deck lists. So this
Keep it
is...
nice and friendly, guys.
Moving on.
You know, they wouldn't accept
so
you
this
if
is bitching Kaguya, Krying Kaguya. Honor her. If you don't know what she does, she flips for 0 as long as I put a treasury item in this turn. She energizes for blue or green as she is a split color. And she can, for 0, reveal the top card of my deck. If it's a treasury, I can add it to my hand. Otherwise, it replaces itself.
This is just a shitty version of my Kimono one from earlier.
This is the control version. I play this very differently. It used to be a 60 card. I still call it 60 card Kaguya. It does not run 60 cards anymore. It used to. On her flip side, in case you don't know, I'm sure you already do, she has a slew of effects. The first one being, if I have 3 or more treasury items, she gains barrier. Very important. I can tap 1 treasury item to give a -2 attack to a creature on my opponent's field. I can tap 2 treasury items to produce a green or a blue mana. I can tap 3 treasury items, and that, I believe, nets me a draw. And then I can tap 4 to bounce something, and then I can tap 5 to turn her into a 15/15 flyer. And then, of course, with the barrier, that makes her a huge threat. Usually a game ender. It's a win con, but not the win con that I mainly play for. So that's the ruler. In case you didn't know, I'm sure you already did. So we're going to start with the Resonator lineup. On the 2-drop, I'm going to open up here with 4 of the Crows. This fucking card is amazing. What this guy does, in case you don't already know, is it will allow you to, anytime it's tapped for any reason, it's a 5/5 flyer, anytime it's tapped for any reason, it taps at a card on your opponent's board. So, you attack, tap something. You block, tap something. You tap it to use a Kaguya effect, tap something. Basically, you can produce mana, tap out your opponent's board, bounce something, tap out your opponent's board, draw cards, tap out your opponent's board, as well as just being a 5/5 flyer, which is handy. Don't often win games with this card, but I can definitely swing games with that card.
Totally.
Because there are certain cards.
Next up, this is a bit of a personal tech choice. I run 2 of the Moon Rabbits. The Moon Rabbit I run because it's effectively free. I will mention a combo later on when I get into the additions that this is going to be integral to, so I'm going to set this aside for a moment. It doesn't do anything. It's a 2-drop 5/5. The effect is that I can rest a moon instead of paying its cost to bring it in on a slow effect. And that will combo out later. I'm sure you know where that's going if you're familiar with the list at all. Next up, win con, effectively. Automata. Great card. 1 blue, 1 colorless, 4/4. Gains +2/+2 for every addition I control. This thing ramps up really quickly. On average, I see it getting at least a +8. I often see it getting up to a 20/20, usually when I'm swinging for game. The way that I play this deck, generally I'm going to wait till this thing's either this thing is huge or I have a Kaguya that I can swing for game with. You play this really defensively, and you'll understand why when we get into Chants more so. Next up, we're getting to the end of the Resonators here. Just one more card after this guy here, and this guy here is Kaguya, the Lunar Researcher, 3-drop 7/8. When I control a moon, it's a 2-drop. Green-white. I'll show stones afterwards. So this is a flying 7/8. With the ability of anytime I bestow an addition to it, it will it'll untap. So basically just swing, 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 swing. Very good if you're familiar at all with Kimonos. You can combo that really well and just bam, 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 rush out huge damage. And then the last guy here on a Resonators is going to be the Were Rabbit, the Moon Were Rabbit, Protector of the Treasury, something like that.
Stub my toe, that's karma.
It is a 3-drop 5/5 that when it enters the field, search out a treasury item, being an addition or a resonator, and then when it dies, you flash in a treasury item, be it an addition or a resonator.
Or you beat your meat.
Why are you guys so fixated on being great at Yu-Gi-Oh? I just don't get it.
Being gay?
These guys are a bunch of fucking gays.
Great at Yu-Gi-Oh? Seriously? Come on.
Bunch
Suck
of
this.
Kagyas. Kaguyas. I meant Kaibos. So that's Resonators. I'm going to leave this off to the side because there is a combo coming up I'm going to talk about. So, for the additions, I'm only running 4 Kimonos, so the Kimono is 1-drop blue. I'm not going to explain every addition aside from the ones that are really key. This one will exponentially ramp up creature attack based on how many Kimonos you have bestowed already. Comboing with Kaguya, you can attach, untap, attack, attach, untap, attack, attach, untap, attack. Basically ramp out, eke out massive damage, as well as it being a treasury item. Being able to tap for Kaguya abilities as well is huge, huge, huge. Definitely one of the most important cards of the deck. You can run up to, I think it's 15, and it has a win condition on it. I only run 4 just because I honestly, it's a great card, but the way this deck is built, I don't need to run more than 4.
Yeah.
That's not the focus of the deck. If I was running it more aggressively, I would run maybe even 15, just because it is a 1-drop, but it's just not the focus of the deck. Coming up next is going to be IU's Pictoral Scroll. IU's Pictoral Scroll is amazing. When we get into Chants, there's actually a couple of combos with this card. Number 1, with Kaguya's Moon Tier Stone, that we'll go over once I get to Stone lineup, I can look at the top 2 cards of my deck and then rearrange them in any order, as well as I always know what the top card of my deck is as long as I'm on ruler side of Kaguya. I can reveal it to look, draw if it's a Treasury. This card, 2-drop, when it comes in, flash in a 3-drop or less from the top of your deck. If it's not a 3-drop Resonator, you draw it anyway, so a draw at worst and a flash at best. I often will end up smacking either this or good old-fashioned Lunar Researcher out. Either one of these is amazing, getting these, just fucking dropping these on turn 1 or 2. You can really do a lot of damage. It also just helps you ramp out your board presence. I only run 3 just because it doesn't do anything else for you. Once it hits the board, it just becomes Kaguya fodder, which is great, but I have other things that do other stuff that are also Kaguya fodder. Such as, great segue, the Moon.
I have the Moon.
The Moon. Tap it to bring in the rabbit, so this is another one of those combos. I can tap the Moon, bring in the rabbit. That's the only reason why I run the rabbit, if I'm being honest. But the Moon will give a -2 to a creature on your opponent's board when it gets tapped, which is amazing when you combine it with Kaguya's first ability. -4 for 1 tap. Doesn't seem like a lot, but in a very stall-oriented deck, it can do major damage. I was playing against somebody earlier today, and I managed to just drop their attack continuously. They were attacking me and not doing any damage over and over and over and over again. And that is a great way to just stall out the game for you to get out your big combos. Another card that is very similar in that vein is going to be the Pictoral Scroll. This one is Kaguya's Pictoral Scroll. Kaguya's Pictoral Scroll, RFG 3 underneath, you can play them at any time as though they were in your hand. I love this card. This card is fun on the... I never hard cast it, but if I could flash it in under a Treasury Master, or if I can flash it in under a Millennium Bond, this card is amazing. Taps, just like for any other Treasury, you can use it with Kaguya to tap, but I can also play the cards underneath it, so RFG a bunch of counter spells. Oh look, I just always have these counter spells accessible to me. Very fun card. I find that it will often, it's hit or miss. I may be swapping it out soon and testing out some other cards in its stead. But for now, it does put in enough work. It was definitely better when the card deck had 60 cards in it, because it was basically what was letting me rush through 60 cards and always have the consistency. I actually ran 4 in the 60 card variant, and it was wild. I ran through the deck like it was absolutely nothing.
That's awesome.
60 cards and you always see the shit you want. Like, that's wild.
That's pretty sick.
I did change it in the end because it just got... it was boring to play is why I changed it. Moving into Chants, this is where you're really going to start to tell the difference between this deck and the aggressive variant. Because up until now, it's similar. Running 3 of this brand new card. It's not even technically out yet and not technically legal, but it came out in the pre-release today. This is Approaching the Truth. It's a 1-cost green quick cast chant. When it comes in, when I cast it rather, look at the top 2 cards of my deck, very similar to the Tear Stone. Look at the top 2 cards of my deck. I can place them either on the top or the bottom, and then I draw a card. And that's so, let's say I play this, take a look at the top 2. Let's say I've got a Pictoral Scroll and a Bunny. I can say Bunny on top, Pictoral Scroll on bottom, and then draw a card. So I get that Bunny to my hand, or vice versa, evidently. Very, very, very good card. It's basically green Summon from Memoria, but it gives me a little more options in terms of cycling my deck, which is what I really like about it. I've been thinking about swapping it out for Summon from Memoria. The other nice thing about this is that it's quick cast, and if I'm not mistaken, Summon is not.
No, Summon is not. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Summon is slow.
The one thing that bothers me about this card, completely unrelated to your deck, is the fact that they decided to give it the subset Chant Story as opposed to Chant Elemental.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because it has Gil on the card. It would be phenomenal. But they're like, no. Fuck Gil. And on top of that, also, fuck Gil with this card. It's just been a big fuck Gil fest. Just fuck Gil everywhere.
It's been a big fuck everything fest, honestly.
Like,
that's why this is a deck that I built in like old formats that I used to play all the time.
Well, pretty much what they're trying to tell us with the release of this new set is, hey, we're on the 3rd set of this 4-set block. You guys are starting to warm up to the rulers. You probably even love them now. At first, we were like, these things kind of fucking suck, right? Because they had all those seals and whatever. We had to really love them over time. And they're like, well, it's a good thing that you love them now because fuck everything.
Yeah.
Fuck counters. Fuck the grave.
Yeah.
You can't have anything.
And so now basically the way to play is aggro or control.
Yeah.
Aggro or green-blue control, because if you want to play black control, I guess you can just go suck a fat chode.
Yeah. And just a majority of the old rulers. So Cog still falls underneath that.
Yeah. Kaguya is nice because she doesn't require any counters. She's completely self-sufficient. And she even sort of mana fixes herself, although she only produces mana that you already kind of need to play all of her cards, because all the cards you need to play for her are like blue-green to begin with.
Yeah.
Coming up next, again out of the new set, this is the Delete This card.
I love that card.
I
love that card.
It's a less good version of Wall of Wind, if you're familiar with Wall of Wind. It's a 1 green X. Quick cast, cancel target spell. I believe it cancels anything. Yeah, target spell. Unless controller pays X, so whatever you pay into it, your opponent has to also pay that. I believe there's a blue magic card that does the exact same thing. And I can't remember the name of it.
I can't either, actually.
Yeah, I've used it in blue decks before. But yeah, this card is awesome. It takes me back to a time when I could run Wall of Wind, which makes me a little bit sad on the inside. But still a fantastic card. Brand new. I actually found I wasn't using it as much as I thought I would in play. I think I might try swapping it out for the 2-drop counterspell that cancels something that targets myself or my J Resonators. Because I don't know. I'm going to test them both out. For now, it's this. This is a great card. It might just have been the matchups that I was up against that were kind of fucking that. So moving on. I've got Kaguya's Decision. This card is really hit or miss. This one, I only run it 2 for the express reason of you fucking miss. Basically what it is you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, and then you pick a Treasury with a cost of 3 or less, and you flash it in. That's all fine and dandy, but you will miss treasuries from time to time. It's not super common because of the number of treasuries in the deck, but you will miss them from time to time, and when you do, it's so garbage. You feel like trash. You feel like absolute garbage when you miss them. And that's the reason why I was at 2. When I was running the 60-card deck and I had more treasuries in, I ran 3 of those, and I was missing a lot. And I think that's probably a big part of the reason why I dropped it down to 42 cards, was because of constantly missing my final decisions. Because this can be a make or break card in some situations. Moving on to the next, this is probably my favorite card in the deck. Millennia Bond.
I don't like it.
This card shits on Gil especially.
Yep. It's like, hey, you want to play that one thing from your deck after sacking to produce 2?
Go fuck yourself. If you don't know what Millennium Bond does, which I would not blame you if you didn't, because it's really only good in one deck.
Not a lot of people run it.
No, they don't, and I know why, but
Man.
I don't understand it because nobody plays this fucking ruler. What it is it's a 1 green, 1 blue. I'm gonna explain it because I'm sure that nobody fucking knows what it does. It's a 1 green, 1 blue quick cast. Cancel target chant. It only works on chants, which includes quick cast chants. Anything with chant in its name, really. It will not cancel resonators. I know that very well. But it is cancel draw card already. That's amazing. But if you control a blue resonator and a green resonator, it has to be 2 different ones. That is something that we figured out recently, which includes J rulers. You not only get to draw a card, but you also get to flash a Treasury of 3 cost or less. And
So good.
And
good.
it's insane. That is make or break as fuck. That can win games on its own.
By the way, if you want another promo, I totally have another promo.
Oh, hell yeah.
The promo's pretty cute. Sometimes I find that the promo art is actually not as good as the original art. It's happened a few times.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what do we got
Definitely
left?
So I've got 4 cards left and then stones. 1 Moonbeam Butterfly. I should bump it up, but I just kept on not doing it. It was actually in my sideboard up until literally like 2 hours ago when I was like, hold on. This is just better than this card than another card. And I was like, fuck it. Blast it in there. I don't really have a legal sideboard for this deck right now since it is still technically running off of an Alice block engine. But Moonbeam Butterfly, it's great. Addition, resonators, whatever the fuck
He only
you want.
figured out it had additions
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
like partway through our last match.
I think I knew when I put it into the sideboard what it did, but I didn't click until just like, again, 2 hours ago. And I was like, oh wait, I can just bring in my additions and fuck the board. And that's exactly what I did, and it's amazing. Bring in, one thing that's really fun is I use Pictoral Scroll with it. Cast it, search out an IU for 2, so you do a 3 cost Moonbeam Butterfly, search out an IU's Pictoral Scroll, drop the Pictoral Scroll in, and just laugh. It doesn't matter what you get. If you get a Resonator, fantastic. You flash that shit in. If you get just a whatever, just draw it. It's great. It's nice. It's a draw no matter what. If you play it that way. You can also search out Resonators, and in some cases I will if I need it. I can play it as a 2 and get out my win cons, which is handy. The last card, I'm sure since you saw the rest of the list, you saw it coming. Severing Winds.
Wait. What is this Severing Winds you're talking about? I've never heard of it.
Play. Hold on. I got a way to explain it. Play a card.
Okay, I will play this one.
Sure, that's fine. Play another card.
This one. I will also play this other one.
Go fuck yourself. Play another card.
I've only got rulers. I'm gonna play this J ruler.
I can't cancel it, but if that was a regular card, go fuck yourself.
Wow, so what you're saying is it's the card that doesn't let me have nice things?
It's the card that they should have banned instead of the card that they did ban, which is unfortunate because I actually...
Wait. Are you telling me that Force of Will can make horrible decisions about a game that they made?
Yeah, like when they didn't ban Reflect Refrain for like 6 months, and then they did, but it was already too late because they had rotated.
And then they unbanned it.
And then they unbanned
Because
it.
Wanderer
And then
needs more chaos.
And then they banned Leviton and made me sad because now I can't play my Dark Alice deck.
You know what, dude? I love you. I think you're a great guy. But I hate Leviton, so that's where we're going to diverge a bit.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. Especially in that Dark Alice. I had a Dark Alice deck that basically just, like, shit on my opponent. It was...
Dark Alice is one of the things that I lamented losing the most out of Alice block.
I feel you.
Okay, this was Knowhere's Cog deck. Like, I think she's baller.
Last little bit is
Oh, stones. Just shotgun them,
It's
shotgun them.
super
Boom,
simple.
boom, boom.
4 of the tier stones.
Nice.
3 of the green blues, and
Nice.
then I'm proxying them at the moment, but 3 white blues. It's a really basic stone
How
list.
old school this guy is.
Yeah.
He actually just took a little paper and wrote some nice stuff.
This is the way we used to do it back in the gym when we didn't have enough cards because there was 6 people playing the game and there was less than a playset of every individual card in the community.
Yep, and then Dayman and Teacher showed up on the scene and they're like, hey, do you want to just grab a shit ton of Vingolf too? Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
for this
that's the
stones.
worst
Yeah.
golf, but yeah, it came with the stones. So yeah, that's
Could
the
you
whole
see
thing.
yourself running this deck in what's
Into the
this?
ground like trash.
No. What the fuck is it
Wanderer?
called?
I don't
No,
know.
not in Wanderer. In
In the game.
In a GP. Good lord.
I think if I do make it out to GP this year, I will either run this or Nyarlathotep.
Yes.
And I'm not sure
Weren't
which
you saying that
yet.
Nyarlathotep has a bunch of good cards, but they just don't work in tandem well for some reason? Or was that something else?
No, that was Shayla.
Oh.
Shayla has a lot of really good cards that don't want to work together. Nyarla does too, but the thing about Nyarla is that she likes to focus on the dinosaur, but you can play her really well as a fingerfuck deck. And
I have never heard that phrase
really,
ever.
okay, so Nyarla is a hand fucking deck where you just fuck your opponent's entire hand. Your opponent has a big hand, fuck it. Discard multiple cards. We'll put it this way: Lapis Darkstorm is a hand fuck card, whereas Thought Control out of the new set is a finger fuck card. Spiral into Despair is a hand fuck card to Scorn of Dark Alice is a finger fuck card. Hand fucking is where you discard multiple at random usually. Finger fucking is usually specific discard. And what bothers me about Nyarla and why I'm gonna build it and then test it really heavily is that I can run it on an engine that I built an old control black deck, but I lose what made that deck so good in moving into the format, as well as using Nyarlathotep. I lose a lot of amazing cards from moving from Kaguya to Nyarlathotep, but that's a story for another day.
Oh, also, low-key, forgot to introduce this video with, this is the LUDE episode, but just to kind of assume that if you hear Knowhere's sultry, velvety voice, that you're probably also going to hear the word gay, fuck, shit, and probably teacher off-screen saying the word penis in a high-pitched voice.
Probably.
But you know what? This is new Force of Will. Welcome to it. It's rash. It's bold.
I ain't trying to hint at anything, but I may be hitting y'all in the earlobes with a dank 13-turn Wanderer deck. See you